Okay, well, I've made quite a few videos recently that have been a little bit off the beaten track for me, mainly concerning this atheism plus thing, also a video on why I'm not a feminist. I'm going to kind of do the same thing again here. I apologise, this isn't going to carry on forever, because I know that if there's one thing I'm renowned for on YouTube, it's being a right old boring bastard that only ever talks about the same few topics. So I promise I will go back into boring bastard mode as soon as I can. But a few times I've had this article linked to me or read discussions about it in forum posts, and this is this original blog and discussions that have resulted about Schrodinger's Rapist, and so I wanted to comment on the whole thing. The first thing I wanted to comment on is what a marvellous title it is. What a title should do is kind of sum up what it's all about. This is one of the best titles, Schrodinger's Rapist, that I've ever come across, because even without reading any of the blog, I could have got a basic thrust of what the concepts are. It's going to be about saying that women, you know, the old concept of Schrodinger's cat is of not knowing until the observation's been made, not knowing what state the cat is in. And so this is going to be the same thing. It's going to be saying, unless it's too late, unless the sexual assault has been made, unless the rape has been made, unless you've been raped, you're not going to know. You're in that really, really poor position of not knowing, and that guys should realise that that's the position that women are in. So what an amazing title to give you so much information. Contrast that, if you will, with the title Atheism Plus, which tells you precisely fuck all about what has been added to the basic concept of atheism. Okay, so the title is Schrodinger's Racism. I'll say that again. Why don't I just walk out there? In fact, I will. I'm going to walk out the room, and I'm going to walk back in again. Right, okay. So, let's have another go. Schrodinger's Rapist, or A Guy's Guide to Approaching Strange Women Without Being Maced. You can tell this is written in America. I don't think you're allowed to carry mace in the UK. There's no such thing as defensive weapons. Any weapon that could be used defensively is banned, so you can't carry weapons of it. Whether you could carry, I don't know if you could carry like a metal shield, you know, or wear a suit of armour. Maybe you could do something like that, I don't know. But anyway, that's just the title. So the first thing, something I've come across so many times the last few weeks with these free thought blogs, Atheism Plus, is people saying he's reading things where people saying, well, that obviously doesn't apply to you, does it? So why are you commenting? This isn't about you, this is about other guys who do those kind of things, blah blah blah. So maybe this piece doesn't apply to somebody like me. One of the first lines, let me start out by assuring you that I understand you are a good sort of person. So that is who this is addressing. This whole thing that I read out is addressing good men, not bad men, not nasty evil men. This is going to be advice for the good men. Bear that in mind at every touch and turn. Now, it turns out that this doesn't apply to me, not because I'm not a good man, but because she goes on, in fact, you would really like to have a mutually respectful and loving sexual relationship with a woman. Unfortunately, you don't yet know that woman. Well, I do. I'm married and I've got a marvellous wife. So this doesn't apply to me, but it would have applied to me. So I can go back to that time when it did apply to me, can't I? So I'm going to miss a bit now and just call a little bit out before I get on to the basic thrust of where this is going. This is what she says. The first thing you need to understand is that women are dealing with a set of challenges and concerns that are strange to you, a man. To begin with, we would rather not be killed or otherwise violently assaulted. But wait, she says as if we're replying to her, I don't want that either. Well, no, but do you think about it all the time? Is preventing violent assault or murder part of your daily routine, rather than merely something you do when you venture into war zones? Because for women, it is. Many points to make just on this alone. Fucking hell. I've been told a number of times, don't speak on behalf of other people. Especially don't speak on behalf of women. You're a man. You have no right to speak on behalf of women and tell them what they think. Or what their experience is. That's their right. Let me read you the first bit of this again. The first thing you need to understand is that women are dealing with a set of challenges and concerns that are strange to you, a man. So Fedra Starling is telling me, a man, what a man's experience is. She's telling me, in fact, what my experience is. Does something seem wrong in that somewhere? Or do women have this extra level of this sixth sense or something so that they can do that? I don't know. Fedra Starling perhaps does. So she brings up then killed or violent assaulted and said, well, men don't think about this all the time, women do. Two big points here. Why murder and violent assault? This is like rubbing the reader's nose in this. She could have talked about rape. The fucking article's about rape. Why murder and violent assault? When murder and violent assault are two crimes that men are much more likely to succumb to than women. I really don't understand that. But maybe it is that she fears murder and violent assault more than I do. Who am I to say? I only know how much I fear them, and she knows how much we both fear them. So clearly she knows a lot more than I do. But my real bugbear with this is the last line. She says, because for women, it is. What a load of fucking shit. Maybe for Fedra Starling it is. Maybe for the women that she hangs around in is. What gives you a clue is the first line here when we're talking about privilege. She lives in New York City. This is the privilege we're talking about. People who live in big cities who forget that not everybody around the world lives in a great big fucking nasty miserable city where nobody looks at one another as they're going past. I don't. I live in a nice little market town. Look, where's the cows? Now the cows aren't out today. That's not the centre of the town, by the way. I'm right on the outskirts. But it's nice, it's leafy, and people don't try and mug you in the street and stick a knife to your throat every 5 minutes. Her experience is not the experience of every woman. Why doesn't she just speak for herself? Why doesn't she just say, because for some women it is. For many women it is. What she talks about isn't my wife's experience, it isn't my mother's experience. You know, sometimes my wife likes to go out for a jog on her own. And sometimes she tries to go out for a jog when it's dark. And I stop her. She'll go out, but I stop her. Or I say to her, look, I'll come round in the car and follow you round. She's not scared. I'm the one that's scared. I won't go out for a jog in the dark on my own. I'm the one that's scared, not her. Okay, let's move on. Let's get to the bulk of it. I want to go through the bulk and then there's a little bit at the end that I want to tie up. Okay, so I think these two lines sum it up. So when you, a stranger, approach me, I have to ask myself, will this man rape me? And then the paragraph and then we get this. When you approach me in public, you are Schrodinger's rapist. You may or may not be a man who would commit rape. I don't know for sure, unless you start sexually assaulting me. Now I know that a lot of guys have took issue with all of this online. I don't take issue with any of this. I absolutely understand the intentions behind that. If you don't know anything about somebody, well, how do you know they're not a rapist? How do you know they're not a mugger? How do you know they're not a murderer? How do you know... There's 101 different nasty things that people can do that are not in your interest. You don't know that they're not going to do any of those things. Why should you work on the principle that everybody's really, really nice when we know that there are so many people who are not? So I am absolutely with this woman on this, 100%. It behooves us all to look after ourselves, and part of looking after ourselves is to be a little bit sceptical as to what people's intentions are. Then she goes on, fortunately, you're a good guy. We've already established that. She said, now that you're aware that there's a problem, let's see how we can fix it and make the women with who you interact feel as safe as possible. So this is where this whole piece is going. This is the piece. It's all for good guys. It's all for us good guys to tell us all the stupid things that we shouldn't do. And then there follows a series of things, and they're all pretty sensible advice. Don't go walking up right. If it's late at night, you're a big guy. You know, there's a woman walking home on her own. Don't go walking up behind her. If she's on a train, she's on her own reading a book. Don't start asking her weird questions or getting in her face. Just fucking leave her alone, okay? That's the best thing to do. Maybe smile and just say hello. You know, just act normally. Just imagine if you're sexually attracted to her that you're not, right? That's the best thing to do. And just you know, this isn't some stupid advert, boy meets girl on train station. This is real life. So that's absolutely fine. No problem with any of that. She's trying to get us on board. She's trying to make a point. She's made it. I'm buying it. I bought it. Applies to all things, not just rape, but I bought it. Hook, line and fucking sinker. I'm going to go with you on this, Fedra. Brilliant. But then we get to the last point, the fifth and last point. Remember, this is all for the good guys. It's for us good guys. It's not for the nasty bastards. The fifth and last point, don't rape. Nor should you commit these similar but less severe offences. Don't assault, don't grope, don't constrain, don't brandish, don't expose yourself, don't threaten with physical violence, don't threaten with sexual violence. Hang on a minute, I thought we were the good guys. We're the good guys, but you feel the need to tell us don't rape. I'm kind of a little bit lost here. So, this is what I've been thinking for the last day or so. I'm thinking, what does Fedra stand? What does she hope to achieve other than to alienate all the people she's just brought alongside with this last one? What does she hope to achieve with this last don't rape comment? There's only two things that I think that this could mean. The first thing is that actually she is a misandrist and she actually believes that basically she's calling us good guys, but she really thinks that all blokes are rapists, really, and that any of us could strike, and that we need to be told don't, as if that would solve the problem. Obviously the problem of rape has gone on for millennia. If only somebody had come along and just said don't rape, it never would have happened, would it? But either she thinks she's some kind of man-hater who thinks we all need to be told, don't, even the good guys, which we are, need to be told don't rape, or she holds us all responsible. This is like some kind of group responsibility. That man's raped, you're a man, you're responsible for his rape on the count that you've both got a set of conkers swinging between your legs. I can't think what the third alternative, the third way could be there. And that's my biggest problem with all of this. The basic logic of, you know, of the Schrodinger's rapist, of not knowing what somebody's intentions is, knowing that somebody could mean you some harm, and that we ought to take account that people might think that we have bad intentions, which is something that I always do, by the way. If I'm walking behind someone and I feel that they may be slightly worried that I'm behind them, I walk over the other side of the road. I don't want to make people feel uncomfy. If I'm in an environment with somebody and there's only one other person in there, could be a woman, could be an old person, that's becoming less of a concern. When I was in my 20s, that was more of a concern, that as a 20-year-old man, 6'2" tall, I could sometimes quite inadvertently intimidate old people. As I'm getting older, that's becoming less of a problem. But I try not to do that. But hey, Jim, don't rape. Oh, thank you for fucking telling me that now you got me on board. I just would love to know what that means. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. Bye for now.